Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm David Green. I'm the Deputy Chief with Colleton County Fire Rescue and the county's emergency manager. Joined today by Fire Rescue Chief Barry McCroy, Sheriff Charles Gent, and Walterboro Police Chief Wade Marvin. We want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We're broadcasting live from Fire Rescue headquarters, and we'd like to take this opportunity to address any questions that you have. But first, we wanted to address a few topics. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can use the link colletonfire.com/question up there on the board. So that's colletonfire.com/question without the S. So Colleton County Fire Rescue's Emergency Management Division and many of our emergency support function partner agencies have been operating for 45 days now in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. Unlike our usual emergencies such as hurricanes, the COVID-19 pandemic is a public health emergency. The South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control is the lead agency in managing the sensitive. We remain in constant communication with DEC and the South Carolina Emergency Management Division to adjust our operations as needed, conduct both short-term and long-term planning, and to ensure that we provide logistical support to all public and private emergency and healthcare operations. Our incident management team continues its various operations, planning and logistical roles, to ensure that we can provide you, the citizens of Colleton County, safety and security while protecting the lives of our responders. Before we begin taking questions, we would like to recognize two groups of people. First, we continue to thank healthcare providers in Colleton County for continuing to provide care to the sick and injured. And second, but certainly not least, we would like to thank our teachers. Next Tuesday, May 5th, is National Teacher Day, and we want to thank all teachers, past, present, and future, for what they have done to shape all of us as individuals and what they do every day for our children. So we'll get into the questions. The first question we have is, if I have criminal charges and the courthouse is closed, does that mean my charges are dismissed? And Sheriff, I'll let you take that one.
That's a nice try. No criminal charges are being dismissed because the courthouse being closed. Those court dates will be rescheduled at a time when the courthouse is open.
Thank you. So the next one is probably yours as well. Now that the boat landings are open, can I go to the sandbar?
The same restrictions are in place as far as stopping at sandbars and so forth. That's not allowed. If a boat is put in at a boat landing, it needs to remain in motion the entire time unless it is anchored for fishing.
The next question is, what does the governor's extension of the state of emergency mean for businesses that were previously closed? And there really wasn't a change to the other executive orders, so I think April 20th was the last executive order that was effective April 20th, that relaxed the restrictions on furniture and home furnishing stores, clothing, shoe stores, jewelry, department stores, but they still have to adhere to the strict social distancing requirements. That's they have to operate at 20% capacity or 5 customers per 1,000 square feet, whichever is less. The next question is the Great Swamp still closed? So Chief Marvin, you want to take that?
Yes. It is still closed. There was some extensive damage to the bridges and walkways. The parks and the playgrounds for the city are also closed due to the COVID incident and from the tornado. I know the walking trail at the county recreational center is open, along with some of the ball fields, I believe.
So the next question is, if I have questions about a business being essential or non-essential, who do I contact? And that's a very popular question. The answer is the South Carolina Department of Commerce. And that email address, their email address is covid19sc@scommerce.com. That's COVID, the number 1, the number 9, sc@scommerce.com. Or their phone number is 803-734-2873. Again, that number is 803-734-2873. And they handle any questions regarding essential or non-essential businesses. The next question, what restrictions are still in place in reference to COVID-19? Chief McCroy, you want to take that?
Well, certainly. The governor has extended the state of emergency, which extends all the executive orders, so they're all still in place.
And the next question, are city and county buildings still closed to the public? Chief?
The municipal leaders and our county leaders have all decided to keep the buildings closed. All the staff is still working, so you can contact the specific departments by telephone or by email, and they will be glad to tell you how they can assist you. I believe the finance department or treasurer's office for the city and the county have a drop box in place to where you can drop your payments off. And like I said, if you have any questions, just call the appropriate department at the telephone numbers.
The next question is, with an upcoming election, how will restrictions affect our voting process? Chief McGroy, you want to?
We actually reached out to Angela Upchurch at voter registration, and she said that they're actually making the process a lot easier this year. They're going to be opening the absentee ballots. You can start doing absentee ballots on May 4th, which is next week, or you can call and request one. They'll mail you one by mail. You can reach them at 843-549-2842. That's 843-549-2842. When they do the actual election, their office staff and their poll workers will be wearing PPE, and after somebody votes, they will be cleaning the machines.
The next is, have there been any announcements on if schools will be able to hold a graduation ceremony? We talked with both the school district and Colleton Prep this morning or this afternoon before we started here. The Colleton County High School principal has appointed a committee to work on several proposals that they have. Once one of them is finalized and approved by the superintendent, they will make an announcement on the school district website. We'll probably carry that on the county website as well once they do announce it. They expect that to be announced here the next week or two probably. Colleton Preparatory Academy, they are holding a graduation. It's going to be on June 18th, and it is limited to parents with tickets, so they're issuing tickets there. It's based on available square footage that they have, and they're going to be live streaming it as well. And then kindergarten graduation will be on June 17th using the same procedures. The next question is, when will they make a decision on the opening of public beach accesses to the public? Sheriff, you want to take that?
Sure. EDSTA has not announced an official day for reopening the beach accesses to the public. What they have announced so far is that on May 8th, those people that already have short-term rentals booked will be allowed on the island for those rentals. And on May 15th, they are allowing all short-term rentals to resume and bookings to resume. As far as a date when they will actually allow the public back on, it hasn't been announced yet. I think they're still analyzing that, and they'll still announce something further.
Okay, and the next question, are officers still responding to calls for service? Is there a different response for non-emergency calls? Sheriff, I'll let you start with that, maybe Chief Marvin.
Sure. Well, what we implemented some time ago was kind of an alternate response to calls. If it's a non-emergency call, typically our deputies are going to try and contact the person by phone and take the report over the phone if necessary. The cases are still being followed up on, assigned to the investigators and so forth. If response to the scene is necessary, that'll happen at a time when it's safe. Also, if it's an emergency call, the deputies are still coming. You can expect that dispatchers will be asking screening questions of anyone who calls prior to a call for service.
Chief Martin, you have anything to add with that?
No, we're following the same procedures, and I would encourage anyone, if you're not getting the results you want, or if you feel like something wasn't handled the way you would like it to be handled, just please give us a call. Reach out to us. Be glad to explain what we did, why we did it, and do something a little different if we need to.
Thank you. The next question is, are first responders using precautions when transitions from calls with possibly infected individuals to other calls? Chief McGroy.
That is a good question. The personnel of ambulances are wearing disposable personal protective equipment, PPE. And when they respond to a call and they finish, that equipment is thrown in the garbage, it's disposed of. If they have a patient that's under investigation or they have a known COVID-19 patient, an ambulance is taken out of service and then it's cleaned from top to bottom. It goes through what we consider a heavy decontamination, and they clean the equipment and the truck. And then, of course, it gets all new linens before they see another patient.
Next, we have with city and county offices closed to the public access, how can I get a copy of a police report or rec report from WPD or CCSO?
What we'd ask you to do is call the non-emergency number, the 549-1811 number. We can get your reports through email. We can also schedule an appointment for pickup, and we can secure an envelope and get that to you if you just need to make an appointment ahead of time.
Sure.
The Sheriff's Office has two methods right now. The first, you can contact our non-emergency line at 843-549-2211. We have also set up a email account that you can request a report on. That email account is reports@colletoncounty.org.
Okay, the next question is, are there any plans for widespread testing for COVID before restaurants are open in Colleton County? And that's a popular question that we get about testing. Right now it remains the test, you need to get a test whenever a physician tells you you need a test. So the problem with testing people that may be asymptomatic, they're not showing any symptoms at all, is that it's very unreliable. The research has shown that someone that's asymptomatic, the test may only be 20% accurate, whereas someone that is showing a lot of signs and symptoms of being exposed to COVID-19, the results are typically much higher, 80, 90, 95%. So widespread testing is important, but it also needs to be tied to your physician or a physician that refers you to that testing. The next question is, does DEC have any plans if a second wave of COVID occurs? And we're in contact with them every day. We're having conference calls just about every day with both DEC and the Emergency Management Division, and we're all working on that together to figure out what our long-term plans are going to be for managing the incident. If a second wave occurs, how we would have sustainable personal protective equipment and those sorts of things. The next question are drive-through fast food personnel being checked for COVID-19. How safe is it to buy from fast food restaurants? Chief Roy,
The fast food personnel are not being tested, as Chief Green mentioned earlier. They're only testing people who are symptomatic, people who have symptoms of the COVID-19. So if they're at work and they don't have any symptoms, obviously they're not being tested. The CDC is, the position they've taken is that that is not a popular transmission, is getting COVID-19 through fast food restaurants. So they should be safe.
Something else I should have mentioned is that there's a finite amount of reagents and testing ability that all the labs have. So if we were to put a lot of people that were asymptomatic into that chain, it would really slow down the labs to be able to process the people that are actually sick. So that would cause some problems as well.
The DEC has come up with some very innovative ways that they actually are producing their own reagents here in South Carolina, which was a big step because they were having trouble obtaining the reagents to do the test. And they had a lab tech, I guess it would be a doctor or somebody there, developed a way to produce their own reagents. So South Carolina has actually taken a step forward to do that. We have to applaud DEC on that side of it.
Next question is, how can or can't the mask requirements be enforced? I just came from Dollar Tree and many customers there were not wearing them. Why? Chief Marvin, you want to take that?
The mask that's a suggestion, not a requirement. So there's no way that we could enforce it. We encourage people to think of others and themselves and take the precautions that have been suggested by the professionals. If somebody is not wearing it at this time, there's nothing we can do to enforce that.
Sheriff, anything to add to that?
No.
The next question is, how long will the virus be going on? That's a That's a question I think we all have. One thing everybody needs to remember is you've probably heard the term flattening the curve. That's what we've been trying to do nationwide for a long time. And if you imagine a curve of cases like so, we're trying to keep the demand on our healthcare resources from being very high. Well, as you flatten that curve, the time goes a lot longer. So while we've been able to keep our healthcare resources from being overwhelmed, at least here locally, that is going to have the effect of making time, the number of cases, be stretched out over a longer period of time. So I don't know that anybody in this room has an answer to that, but we remain here. We remain committed to making sure that we're keeping everybody safe during that time. The next question is, when is the 5th grade graduation? And I don't know that. I mentioned earlier, I think the school district said they were working on plans for 12th grade graduation, and Colleton Prep has a plan for their 12th grade and kindergarten graduations, but I'm not sure when the 5th grade graduation is. I would encourage you to reach out to the school specifically for that information. Next is, once rentals open back on Edisto, do you have to social distance on the beach from the people you are staying in the same house with due to the governor telling police to disperse groups of more than 3? Sheriff?
Sure. They are not, the social distancing requirements on that are not applying to people occupying the same residence, and that has been the case for beach houses as well. So if you're staying in the same house, you don't have to distance. Now, one thing I should point out, as of the last order Edisto had, they are not allowing large umbrellas or the umbrellas out on the beach, so you can't really set up the camps you used to, I guess, out there.
Next is, I have a question regarding a purchase of a vehicle and no tag. I paid the taxes and I have the title. I do have a DMV appointment and I drive my new car.
Okay. So as soon as you sign the back of the title, that gives you legal possession and ownership of the vehicle. If you were to get stopped and you bought it from an individual and you don't have a temporary tag of any sort, just have that paperwork handy, a bill of sale and or title with your signature and date. Both of those things are required. And once you have that and explain that to the officer during this time, I think we'll all be lenient.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you all again for joining us this afternoon. And if you need anything from any of us, please reach out and let us know. Be safe.